and welcome to Direct from Heart. You are watching Voices of Women, and as you all know, Voices of Women is all about bringing forward women whose stories and whose journeys of life would inspire all of you. Well, our guest today is one of those dynamic personalities who has chosen a very different career at a very young age. The consequences? Well, watch out the video till the end to know the consequences. Before I introduce you to our guest today, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done. And if you love watching all these guests on our show, please do not forget to hit the like button and share the videos as much as possible. Also, please do visit us on our Instagram page at directfromheart.yt. Now let's meet Devika Bandyopadhya, our guest today, who is a technical editor and also a co-YouTuber. I'm sure you'd love to watch a co-YouTuber. Here we go. So welcome Devika to Voices of Women. Great to have you here. I think we have been postponing it for quite some time and finally we made it.
Thank you, Swarna. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be on your show. And I've been following your show for quite some time and finally here. It's really nice and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Great, Devika. In fact, Devika also happens to be a co-YouTuber. She runs a YouTube channel called Assorted Bag. It's a pleasure for me to have Devika on the show. So, Devika, to begin with, let our viewers know a little more about you. I have given them a brief introduction, but let me get it from you.
Okay. Yeah, so currently I'm a scientific editor by profession. By qualification, I have a master's in engineering. I began my career with writing, and then as I gained experience, I moved into editing. So I'm into scientific editing, that is, I work with researchers and help them get their papers published for journals. That's on the work front, and the home front, I'm married and blessed with two beautiful kids. So that's my brief
Great.
intro. Yeah.
Okay, you said you had done your post-graduation. If I'm not wrong, it was in computer applications.
Computer science and engineering, yeah, masters in that, yes.
Yes. So how come you took up a fancy to writing from computer applications to content writing and then now into editing?
Okay, so yeah, initially after I finished my bachelor's in engineering, we had this campus placement and I was recruited by a leading software company. So I even went into training, and during my training, I kind of, didn't see myself, coding, programming, or in the software developer kind of position. Coming to how I got this, liking for writing, that I can say dates back to my childhood. So I always had this fascination for literature or English language and writing. So I used to love writing always, but then I had actually started the training of my software development journey and all, I kind of wasn't enjoying it, and I took this hasty decision of quitting it. Okay, which wasn't accepted very well by my friends, and everybody said, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, you have done your engineering and people are looking forward to you as a software engineer in the coming years. So writing wasn't a career quite popular back in 2010-11, but somehow I just wanted to explore that career, and it was always that, okay, I have a long way to go, why not just take out some time and explore if I can do something in the writing. So that was the turning point where I moved from there to here, but that was a real struggle, I must say, finding a writing job, and mostly none of the the leading publication houses or media houses, none of them had writers as such. And whenever I used to approach anybody, they used to say, okay, you have an engineering degree and you're coming to a writing profession. So that was a major shift. But then I kept trying, and initially I was into freelance writing and more of blogs, press releases. I worked with various clients, so that was like on and off, not a stabilized one. But then I started exploring, and it turned out fine, and I was enjoying what I was doing, although it wasn't that well paid during those days, but I was enjoying, and I was happy that I was doing what I wanted to do.
Now, Devika, you said you always had a passion for writing. You were into literature and English and all that. Then why is it that you took up something into engineering? I mean, I think they are two different, totally different fields.
So that actually just, I would say that happened by chance. So, it was like during my 11th and 12th, and I took up science, and I was like, okay, I need a strong educational degree as well, just in case I'm not able to pursue, or as a backup. And so people said, okay, writing can be something that you can do anytime. But having a professional degree is essential to survive lifelong, because as I told you, writing wasn't a recognized career, so I needed that strong thing. So even during my engineering days, I wouldn't say that I was bad. I was like a real good student. I'm praising myself, but that I was pretty good. And after my bachelor's, I went on to do a master's degree, because even now, although I was doing an engineering and I thought of writing, I had that thing in my mind that maybe I can take up technical writing in future. So that was the reason I wanted to have a knowledge of certain kind of a technology, so that I can make use of knowledge of that into writing. And that's what I'm doing right now, actually. Doing engineering, I've never regretted doing that, but I didn't want to go into the software development kind of a job. So I finished my studies and then I moved here, and I think the transition was pretty okay, and I've accomplished what I wanted to do. So yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, now that you have picked up content writing, I mean, now of course you're into editing, but probably you started your journey with content writing. So, what exactly are the skills required, Devika, to be a content writer? Apart from, of course, good language skills, we all know that language skills are a must if you have to write. So, apart from that, what else would one require to do well in this field?
Okay, so yes, as you said, language is a huge must. You need to be good with your language, and not necessarily English language. With the market is such that even regional languages are quite being accepted, and many of these media houses, they do prefer regional language writers. So if you have a proficiency in any particular language, not necessarily English, people can go ahead and get this particular job. The prerequisite, or what I would say a person who's going into this field needs to have, is the patience to research. So if you research well, you can write a very good paper or a very good article. Unless you do the research, it's not. So because see, when I started off as a content writer and I was given a topic, and the first thing I did was research. I used to read up articles on the same subject or the same topic from various other writers. And once you know what they have written, you can put in your ideas and create a unique piece. So because we cannot actually paraphrase or write something what already has been written, it has to be unique. And so for me, writing is maybe 25% of the part. What goes mostly into creating a perfect article is researching and having that patience to research. It's sometimes just like you're just writing 500 words, but that can take you say 3-4 days, because you need to create it to be a masterpiece.
Right. So basically, are you put through these plagiarism tests?
They're most of the clients or companies that you work for, they have these softwares. So once you give them an article, and they run it through the plagiarism software. So the requirements might differ. Few might allow a 10% plagiarism is fine. Few might allow just 5%. Few might just want everything unique. So it depends. So the copy pasting thing won't work with content writing. It has to be completely your creation. Every word, every sentence has to be written by you. So researching is important, so that you know the topic by the essence of the topic, so that you can produce your own words and ideas.
Fair enough. Now, Devika, normally these days, I think earlier it was all about passion, but these days, what creates passion among the youth for a particular career is the kind of money that you get out of it. It's your paybacks. So, how fetching is content writing in those terms, if you have to see? Do you think a person can actually take up this as a full fledged career and then even support a family? To that extent, is it quite fetching?
Uh, to answer your question, I would say if you're a fresher without any experience, just a fresh college graduate, then if that person is going into the content writing, the initial pay is going to be really less. Moreover, if you're freelancing and exploring different categories or different kind of subjects, then it's going to be really low. But once the person has this 2 or 3 or maximum say 4 years of experience, and moreover However, content writing is currently being considered as one of the highest paying jobs for the experienced people, and if they have knowledge of a particular subject. So if you have the technical knowledge of a subject, it can be a really good paid job. If you go through most of these multinational companies, they have a different section dedicated to technical writers or technical editors, and you can move, the growth is quite good. So even if you join a company as a technical writer, maybe in 2 years time you would be a technical editor, and maybe then the editor-in-chief or the editorial head. So the growth is pretty good because people in this field are less, so you grow quite good, and obviously the pay also rises as you are going up the curve.
So basically, I think that happens with any career, Devika. Anywhere, I mean, even if you're an engineer, there are companies who pay as low as 10,000 or 5,000 to an engineer, actually. So that cannot be enough for you to run a company, run a family as such. Fine. Now, Devika, how easy or how difficult is it to juggle between, your personal life and your work, especially now you're working from home? You have been working from home. I think this is a profile that always works from home, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Yes, but then mine was actually, I worked almost 2.5 years, was full time from 2015 to 2017. And after 2017, I took a year break, like after my son was born, I took a 1 year break. And then again, I did a full time job that was for a media house. And that's when I got into the scientific editing, and I was offered few roles which were remote because I'm working with these international researchers. So they do not have an office, so it's more always a remote kind of work. So that's when I quit the last full-time job, and since almost a year now I'm into freelance. So yeah, juggling between work and life is tough, but I'm blessed to have a good support system, I must say. So whenever I have assignments due or meetings lined up, and my mother's there, I'm going to take care of my kids. And even on the home front, my husband has been quite supportive. We do have this, we divide the task, and he's equally helpful and he supports. And even with the kids, managing them or taking them out or feeding them, whatever it is, we have this equal divisions, and he's always there to support. So I've been blessed this way. I can understand for people who do not have a support system, it can get really tough.
No, I know. It can be otherwise quite difficult, actually, especially when you have kids. I think the kind of work you are into, where you have to put in long hours into reading and researching, I think unless you are given that space to concentrate, you will not be able
Yeah,
to
because I
do
need that,
anything.
the silent atmosphere, because I can't have the children running all about, because if I'm reading and I have too much noise around, I really can't concentrate. So I always need that silent environment.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Any one incident, Devika, in your life when you felt you cannot go along anymore, or you wanted to give up, or maybe some bitter incident, and how did you actually overcome that challenge?
It was, I would again, correlate it with my current career and the previous the software career that I was offered. So what happened was, and this particular incident has left a very big impact on my mind, and I sometimes still go back and recollect those moments. But what happened was, like, after I went into training for my the software job that I was talking about, so as I told you, I randomly quit it because I wanted to explore the writing career. So there were lots of these opinions, comments coming in from extended families and friends, and everybody was like, okay, this is the worst decision of your life and you're going to regret it. It's definitely depressing. Moreover, because I was trying out for a writing career and I wasn't getting an breakthrough, because most of the companies did not offer such. But I'm happy that I could overcome it because my parents supported, and also that was a moment when I was doing freelance writing and I wanted to do a master's degree so that I can take up technical writing as my career. So my parents kind of supported, and I got enrolled for a master's degree, and that happened. So now I can say, those friends and those relatives are like, okay, yeah, you've taken a good decision, and I'm like, I mentally say, okay, thank God I didn't listen to you.
Was this decision of taking up writing before marriage or after marriage, Devika, by the way?
Before marriage. That was before marriage. Marriage happened in 2011, and I started writing. Started writing end of 2009. Masters. That's when I started my masters as well. So I completed masters in 2011. So after that I got married. So the writing into freelance writing, I would say I was doing it simultaneously along with my master's degree. So technically I started my writing career before marriage.
So what was the, it's probably, I don't know whether you can share this, but what was the project that made you extremely happy and gave you that sense of achievement, Devika?
So initially, I was working with e-learning companies, as in publication houses. Like we have different, we have Pearson, also Engage. I was working with them. So that was more of educational books and all that. So I never had worked with on a research paper or on an ongoing experiment or what these researchers were do. So the first, I wouldn't be able to disclose the name of the particular journal or the paper, but then this particular team that I worked with for on their paper, that was the first live experiment that was happening, and then I worked simultaneously on the paper, and then that got published in a journal. So it wasn't a big deal that time. Papers do get published in a journal, but that was the first time for me. And okay, that my work got because these journals have various requirements and you need to fulfill all of them to for it to be published. So the researchers do their task, and when it comes to me, I need to put it all in place, conceptualize it, structure it, and make it all eligible for publication. So when I did that, so that one particular assignment, it just boosted up my confidence that okay, I can take a work as an editor as well.
Okay, great, wonderful. Now, Devika, what happens is most women, somehow are confused most of the time as to what to do next. You have marriage is, of course, one phase where people give up their careers. Post marriage, there's another big hurdle, kids. The first kid. At least after the first kid, you survive and then take up in something, you have the second kid, and then you almost lose interest. So you have been consistently keeping up your curve, making it go up. So, how was that possible, Devi?
What this according to me, even before I got married, all my opinion about marriage was the husband and wife, we have this traditional saying that both are the wheels of the same car or the same car or something like that. So if the women of the house or the mother or the wife is well settled or has a career of her own, she'll have that confidence, the power, the motivation, the faith in herself, which will make her a good wife, good mother, and good homemaker, whatever it is. I'm not saying even homemakers have varied tasks, and people, if they're taking breaks, there are all relevant reasons. But what I feel is like if every girl or a lady, even before marriage, begins on a career path, she shouldn't be giving up on those stages, because if she's getting married, even the man is getting married. If she's having kids, even the man is having kids. So I would always want that before you're going into that relationship, I think always set it clear your views about your career or how you want to take it. So, and if it's all clear, even the man would be prepared of what to be expected, and there wouldn't be these confusions later on. So that's very essential, because you'll be able to keep your faith in yourself or the self confidence. Most of the time, it's seen that the man is earning well enough, and we are, they end up saying, oh, why do you need to earn, we are managing. So it's not just the financial factor. It's more of having confidence in ourselves and being able to step out, see the world and explore. And there are other aspects, and it's not a man's responsibility to be financially managing just the household. It's all the tasks are equally divided. That's the rule at my home, and that I feel that's really good to keep it all balanced. So
Very true. Very true. Because I think normally kids are a reflection of their parents, and mother especially, I think, plays the most important role out of both the, I think, parents. And it's very important that a mother is first confident. Not only confident, I think she has to bring out an image of a, what do you call, an idealistic image. And unless a mother stands up like a rock, the children wouldn't be confident enough. So if the mother is confident, you automatically raise confident children. So that, I think, many women, both women and men, also don't realize that, because I see many men putting up hurdles for their women most of the time. Don't do this, don't dress up like this. So that is actually always there in the society, unfortunately, and we are, I think, to go a long way to overcome those barriers. And the reason why I'm bringing up all these guests on the show also is to tell people that there are these different kinds of women, doing different things actually, and they need to be taken up as role models. Both, I think, even when men see these programs, they should be able to understand that it's not necessary that you have to be in a 9 to 5 career to even be a career woman. You still have opportunities, other opportunities. The world is changing around. You have the flexibility of working, the convenience of working at your own comfort. Grab that opportunity. I think that is what women should finally understand. Fine. Okay. Now, very well said, Devika. And I'm sure your journey would inspire many more. But before that, how are the opportunities in content writing before we wind up, so that people out there would also understand, if at all they want to take up something into content writing, how difficult is it to pick up a job into content writing or to sustain there as a content writer?
I wouldn't term it as a difficult one, because over the last couple of years, most of the companies have set up a team where they hire only writers. So if you are good with any subject, and I would emphasis or place my emphasis on that, because it's important that to have good knowledge of a subject to be a good writer when you're writing on a particular topic. If you search any company's website and go to their careers section, you will definitely find these list of writers required, or they might have different terms for it, like academic authors required, or academic editors, or if you have these translators come writers jobs. So most of the companies do have. And I would also say our LinkedIn has been quite they have a lot of these recruiters, and if you do this hashtag content writing jobs, you'll have plenty of these opportunities, and sustaining it wouldn't be difficult if you have a good hold on the language, good hold on the subject, and you research. So it's a really it's growing in demand, and I would recommend it to all the people who who love writing and who want to explore it. Please do, because it's definitely worth the try.
And if you want to know more about content writing, watch out Assorted Bag. There are lots of videos on how to become a content writer. Yeah. So that was Devika for all of you. Thank you, Devika, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was really nice. It's always nice to talk to you, and it's like an honor to be on your show. And I've been following it, and I would watch all your upcoming videos, series as well. And thank you so much.
So that was Devika Bandyopadhya for all of you, a content writer who is now a technical editor. If you did love meeting Devika Bandyopadhya, please do not forget to hit the like button, share the video as much as possible. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Your subscriptions are important to us. Stay tuned for further videos. Bye bye and see you soon.